Howdy y'all, I'm Wayne from Dallas, Texas, and I react to all things UK. Got a video for you today about British history, which had a poll over on my community tab. You can go over there and you can post and interact with me. I put a poll up, and history won the poll. So I'm a big fan of British history, and I'm happy to react. I do have a playlist of history. You can check out that and see which videos I've done about history so far, and I've got more coming. Now, this video was requested by a few subscribers, and so I wanted to get to it. Now, my knowledge of British history, because I'm a fan and I read a lot and I've read a lot, but there's so much. I'm not an expert at all in any way about British history. But I have studied it more than a lot of folks. And so my knowledge is probably general knowledge, not deep dives. There's so many areas and so many eras of British history, so it's just hard to get to all of it. But this one, History of Britain in 20 minutes, how do you do that? It's got to be very condensed, and I'm thinking very general. So I'm thinking there's some things I'll know and some things I won't know. And hopefully I'll be surprised and just learn quite a bit. But I want to get into this and find out what I can learn about the history of Britain in 20 minutes, so let's go. I forgot to say this is by channel AJ Merrick, and I'll put a link in the video description. But let's go.
The United Kingdom is a nation located in the British Isles, made up of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland.
I knew that.
Thousands of years ago, the Isles were inhabited by long-forgotten pre-Celtic people, known as the Beaker culture, named for their distinctive pottery beakers. Little is known of them, but it has been suggested that these people laid the foundations for the mysterious Stonehenge, a series of heavy standing stones which were transported from 150 miles away and arranged to form a calendar, marking the days of the summer and winter solstice. Over time, waves of Celtic-speaking people arrived from the European continent, who soon came to form the Brittonic, Gaelic and Pictish people. These people were not a unified people, but were rather many tribes who shared a similar pagan religion, language and culture. The Romans invaded, conquering what's now England and Wales, but failed to conquer the Pictish tribes to the north. The Romans launched several campaigns into this land they called Caledonia. However, their fortifications were soon overrun and abandoned, and they retreated to Hadrian's Wall. Their conquered lands were incorporated into the Roman Empire, becoming the province of...
Okay, so far I'm not lost. I knew that, basic knowledge. The Stonehenge, very known worldwide. I did recently learn that there's stone circles all around, and I have a reaction you can find over on my channel of Aveberry. So that is new information for me that I just recently learned. But Stonehenge, of course, we know that. I'm familiar with the Picts. The Pictish people, the Gaelic. Yes, so far I'm on track.
Britannia. They brought Roman customs and laws, improved infrastructure and connected many towns and cities with Roman roads. When the Romans left, there was a great migration of Germanic tribes. These were the Jutes, Angles and Saxons, with their language Old English. Their settlement pushed many Britons to areas in Wales, Brittany and a kingdom known as Dumnonia, while Scotland eventually evolved into 4 kingdoms. The smallest of these were the Scots, who were originally from Ireland, the Britons of Strathclyde, the Anglo-Saxon kingdom of Bernicia and the Picts of Alba. For unknown reasons, the Jutes disappeared from history, but the Angles and Saxons eventually formed 7 kingdoms. Wessex, Sussex, Kent, Essex, East Anglia, Mercia and Bernicia became Northumbria. After the collapse of Dumnonia, the remaining territory of Cornwall fought against the powerful Kingdom of Wessex. Cornwall eventually fell under the control of Wessex, but it managed to keep its own culture. Wales at this point was also made up of several separate kingdoms, the largest being Gwynedd in the north, Powys in the east, and Dyfed to the south. The British Isles soon saw numerous Norse raiders from Scandinavia. These were the Vikings, and they began settlement on many of the Scottish Isles, the Isle of Man, and they even founded the city of Dublin in Ireland. The Scots and the Picts then decided to unite under Kenneth MacAlpine to form the Kingdom of Alba. The Kingdom of Alba grew strong over the years.
Very cool. I did just recently do a reaction to Cornwall. I knew the Cornish history separate from English history. Very cool. All the Roman history that's happened there, like Hadrian's Wall. Very interested in seeing all of that. So far, a good video, breaking it down pretty well. Oops,
And eventually Strathclyde was brought into the fold. Meanwhile, Danish Vikings arrived in the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms for conquest. After fighting the King of Wessex,
Kingdom of Alba. Also, I'm real curious about the Isle of Manx. Somewhat because of being a fan of cyclists from there, but might do a video reaction to that, even though it's kind
Alfred
of
the
separate.
Great, the Danelaw was formed, a land where the laws of the Danes held influence over the Anglo-Saxons, controlling
Danish
the region
Vikings.
and its affairs. The Anglo-Saxons eventually defeated the last Viking king of York, Eric Bloodaxe, and Athelstan became the first king of the English. Although, the newly formed Kingdom of Denmark would conquer England and even found a
I'm still pretty familiar with this period. I know who Alfred the Great is. So
short-lived Danish dynasty under Canute. The Norsemen had a dramatic impact on the Isles, so it's no wonder some words in the English language have Norse origin. After defeating formidable sea raiders from Ireland, the Western Isles, Scandinavia and Anglo-Saxon forces from Mercia,
correct.
Griffith ap Llywelyn subdued his rivals in southwest Wales. Llywelyn became the only Welsh king ever to rule over the entire territory of Wales. He was defeated by the English Earl Harold Godwinson and killed by his own men, leading to the Welsh kingdoms splitting apart once more. At the death of Edward the Confessor, there was a succession dispute between four claimants. Harold Godwinson was elected as king, and managed to defend England from an invasion by the Norwegian king Harald Hardrada.
I'm familiar with this too.
However, Harold had to march his armies south to defend against Duke William of Normandy, who had crossed the English Channel. According to tradition, at the Battle of Hastings, Harold was killed by an arrow to the eye, and the Norman invaders were victorious. The new King William defeated a number of rebellions.
I've read a lot about the Battle of Hastings. This was like a crucial time period in the development of your nation. It says 1066 CE on the screen right now, so this was a time period that interested me, so I have read about this.
Built a new design of castles called moat and bailies, and introduced a number of reforms, like trial by combat and the Domesday Book. The Norman dynasty invaded into South Wales and parts of Ireland, creating the Lordship of Ireland. At court, nobles spoke and conducted sessions in the Anglo-Norman language, which endured for centuries and left an incredible mark in development of modern English. After a brief civil war, Henry II would marry Eleanor of Aquitaine, establishing the Angevin Empire, beginning a long rivalry against France. Richard the Lionheart defended much of this territory, and also became a central Christian commander during the Third Crusade,
Read a lot about
achieving
him.
considerable victories against his Muslim counterpart, Saladin. Under King John, heavy taxes were imposed on his barons in order to pay for his expensive foreign wars.
Right.
The barons rebelled and forced John to sign the Magna Carta, a charter that established the principle that everyone was subject to the law, even the king, guaranteeing the rights of individuals, the right to justice, and the right to a fair trial. Most of North Wales remained independently ruled by several Welsh princes, until 1216, when Llewellyn the Great became the ruler of the Principality of Wales. This would be the case until Edward I, who conquered Wales in 1284, effectively becoming part of England. At the death of King Alexander III,
Edward I, pretty brutal towards the Scots. If I'm wrong, but I think that's right. Edward the First, right? Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
Third, Scotland was left with 14 rivals for succession. To prevent civil war, the Scottish magnates asked Edward I of England to elect a claimant. John Balliol was elected king, but was constantly undermined by Edward, who opposed Scottish independence. Edward decided to launch several campaigns to conquer Scotland and depose King John, to which he acquired the nickname Hammer of the Scots.
Hammer of the Scots,
Under a brave Scottish knight William Wallace, the Scots mounted resistance against the English, defeating them at the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Edward marched north in person and defeated Wallace in battle, but Wallace managed to escape. He was later captured and executed, but his efforts allowed Robert the Bruce to rise up and defeat the English, securing Scottish independence. When the King of France died without an heir, Edward III was technically eligible to the crown, through his mother. The French court denied his claim and instead installed Philip of Valois. Edward paid homage to Philip as he owned the lands of Gascony and was essentially a vassal to the King of France. Due to disagreements, Edward reasserted his claim to the throne and invaded France, beginning the 100 Years' War. The English achieved notable victories at the Battle of Crécy, Poitiers and Agincourt thanks to the technical superiority of the longbow, but was unable to conquer the French with the appearance of Joan of Arc, who lifted the...
He mentioned the 100 Years' War and put up that picture, and I was going to stop it and mention the longbow, and then he mentioned it.
French spirit and turned the tide of the war. Upon the death of Edward III, an entire generation was skipped in the line of succession, which prompted bitter rivalry between several claimants. Most notably were the houses of York and Lancaster. Tensions were high until a bloody age of warfare erupted between these two.
So then this is going to go into the War of the Roses, which I also have read a lot about. And I've just always been a fan of English history. And so I hope this isn't too boring watching me. But maybe we'll get some more stuff. I saw some other stuff about history that I didn't know at all. So, but this is a broad view here.
Factions in the Wars of the Roses. It's so in-depth and complicated this period will likely become a video of its own. The wars ended with the arrival of the Tudor dynasty. Henry VIII wanting a divorce split with the church creating his own Church of England. This ultimately led to a series of religious differences between future English monarchs. In between his 6 wives and neighbours.
I think even most Americans, if they know one king, it's Henry VIII. I don't know. So we have a general knowledge.
Henry gave Wales representation in Parliament and created the Kingdom of Ireland, but realistically he only controlled an area known as the Pale. In addition, Henry's paranoia and suspicion amounted to tens of thousands of executions, including his friends and wives. During the 16th century, the largest and most powerful empire was Spain, under King Philip II. England, under Elizabeth I, were helping Dutch rebels reject Spanish rule, and many English privateers were also intercepting Spanish silver on its journey back from the New World. This angered the Spanish king, and the final straw came when Elizabeth had Mary Queen of Scots executed, because she did not want Scotland falling under Catholicism. The Spanish Armada, consisting of 130 ships, was deployed to invade England. At the Battle of Gravelines, an English victory forced the Spanish fleet to sail around the British Isles before storms in the north of Scotland destroyed the remaining ships. In retaliation, the English, led by Sir Francis Drake, amassed their own armada to invade Spain, but this too became a failed endeavour. Born in this period, William Shakespeare became a renowned poet, playwright and actor, who contributed significantly to English literature. When Queen Elizabeth of England died without an heir, her closest male relative was James VI of Scotland. James was elected as King of England and Scotland in a personal union, although the countries remained separate political entities. As the first monarch to rule the entire island of Great Britain, several assassination attempts were made by Catholic conspirators. One such assassination attempt was the gunpowder plot by Guy Fawkes, who tried to blow up Parliament.
I'm going to pause this video halfway through. A lot of folks don't like the longer videos, and I'll do a part 2 of this coming up soon. But yeah, you know, I want to get into more detailed videos. I think would be maybe a little more fun because I've read a lot of this and studied these general things about your history because you know, I'm a big fan of England. If you're new around here, you can find this video over on my channel that'll tell you more about me and why I love the UK so much. But I also encourage you to go over to my the history playlist on my channel, where there's going to be more and more things going in that playlist. Right now I do have one there about Guy Fawkes, and I have another one there about the slaughter at Berwick upon Tweed, the massacre there. And now, see, now that I didn't know about. So I want to get into more videos like that where, oh, I haven't heard that story. You know, did I know that Edward I was the hammer of the Scots? Yes. Did I know what he did at Berwick upon Tweed? I did not. So I'm going to try to find more history videos like that where it might be more fun to watch me learn. But that one was fun too. I will do part 2. Let me know if you like the history reactions. And if you get a minute, if you folks will just like and subscribe to my channel, it helps me so much. It's the best way you can support the channel. And until next time, you folks, take care.